Hello. Okay, there's some. Alright, that's good. Cool. Hi, I'm Yun, and welcome to my grad talk. Today I will walk you through some of my work discussing the concept behind each piece and the overarching themes that shape my practice. Yeah, as you can see, the title of this talk is Figures of Time. And these two keywords best encapsulates my body of work, and I will use them as the guiding narrative to share my creative journey. Okay, so during my undergrad study, I primarily focused on narrative filmmaking. From pre-production to post-production, I explored various aspects of filmmaking, including screenwriting, cinematography, and editing. Despite working with limited budgets, I managed to produce several films. My undergrad thesis presence examines the landscape of Tainan, while One Who Is Willing, the film I'm playing right now, portrays the longing for the extraordinary within the ordinary. However, after completing these projects, I reached to the point where traditional narrative structures no longer suffice in expressing my narrative intentions. This realization led me to question where should my film goes and what kind of work am I making.
歹势啦，敢会使借一个鱼线甲鱼钩？多谢。这敢会使买借？好些。
你安尼钓袂着白单呢？
是安怎？
这做法毋对啊！你爱伫水面安尼点一个，减一个，
安尼无可能钓会着吧？
姜太公钓鱼，你敢有听过？
And upon entering SAIC, I began experimenting with editing in new ways. So in Rayleigh-Woods, initially conceived as a monologue play evolved into an experimental film. Here I explore juxtaposition and fragmentation in editing to convey the sense of loneliness, where time is non-linear and different timelines interweave to form an image of the concept while dissolving their own continuity.
都会去的。
我想理解。如果能理解的话。
花儿失去一切，它的高岭，它的苍白，它的纯真，它的自在，在它平凡的日子里，又为了什么？为了少年充满希望的爱情，那一抹充满爱情的微笑。
Yeah, so working with my friend Chen Boyu, who is a theatrical actor,
deepened my fascination with figures in moving images. From gestures reflecting a character's state of mind to the dynamic between the figure and its environment, I became increasingly interested in these interactions. As I expanded my practice into installation art to explore more diverse modes of expression,
I realized that the human figure, a recognizable and deeply relatable signifier, could serve as the central pivot of my exploration. This allowed me to highlight interactions that are more opaque and indirect. Yeah, so in my video installation, One Wonderful Sunday, I attempted to construct a virtual space using 2D images where the audience could interact with projected silhouettes by employing color channel separation and overlaying footage captured at different times by the lake. I sought to create an alternative reality, one where events unfold outside of a linear order and time is dictated by the audience's movement.
Conversely, in Faces of Sadness, a video installation exploring Taiwanese identity
and the interaction between figures and image, here is reversed. Here I examined faces as representations of identity and implemented my own gaze as a form of contemplation. Gestures projected on the screen are translated by the camera. Gazes on faces manifest as camera movements. In this project, I reframed the figures from Hou Xiaoxian's 1989 film, A City of Sadness, through the gesture of my own reflections. At this point, I would like to step back in time and discuss another recurring themes in my work. In Presence, my undergrad thesis, I adopted a shooting style inspired by Super 8 home videos, where all edits were made in camera and done in a really minimalistic way. The spontaneous nature of this method captivated me, leading me to embrace an intuitive approach to assembling footage. This continued in Rayleigh Woods, where I applied a similar technique to process seemingly random fragmented footage from daily life, and the unexpected juxtaposition that emerged from this process were truly fascinating, and subsequently, I began creating video journals as personal reflections on my life in the United States. So this is the video journals I made.
In fall 2024, I further developed this approach in Shit Show. Shot in Tainan during the summer, the project aimed to reinterpret traditional ritualistic gestures within a marine environment.
I processed the footage to emphasize the figures within the images, integrating multiple perspectives to reconstruct a fragmented yet cohesive spatial experience. Here, I began developing an auto-editing system to advance my interest in experimenting with various image combinations. The auto-editing system emerged in my real-time class, and where I started treating film cuts as musical beats. Through repetition and fast editing, I moved away from the overlaying techniques of my previous works, and instead isolating figures as distinct entities. This system evolved into an audiovisual performance tool, which you have experienced earlier. And to me, the Flickr system offers an instinctive way of presenting multiple images simultaneously. With the audio reactive design, it functions through repetition to reconstruct compositions in a musical manner. And additionally, The system has been integrated into live jam sessions and performance with my band Winterset, which includes several SAIC graduates, Sid, Ian, E, and Q. Finally, I would like to conclude with my current project, Faces of Sadness, the video installation version. Building upon my exploration of gestures and gazes as identity markers, I filmed 4 monochromatic rolls of film of Tony Leung's face in a particular scene from The City of Sadness. Each take lasts approximately 20 seconds, resulting in 36 total takes. Through repeated, nearly mechanical tracking of his face, I aim to draw attention to the subtle nuances with each motion. By juxtaposing different media textures and historical periods in Taiwan, I attempt to illustrate the difficulties of expression and the ambiguity that arise in translation, whether it be the translation of time, medium, or language. As figures in time are projected onto the screen, the temporality within each figure runs freely, unbound by the shared time we experience, the space where presence exists. Yeah. Thank you.
So we have at least 5 minutes for questions.
I think the decision that you made to start breaking form when you came here was really interesting, and I think it's really successful. And I'm wondering if you could elaborate more on the issues you were finding with the work you were making previously that you wanted to confront with the new work.
I was really into like slow cinema, but like in like developing a flicker system and such, I was like thinking more about how I can just use cuts to do things, and then kind of like create that rhythmic beats, and then also the combination of like you only see everything in a split second, and like after all you have to kind of like concentrate on the whole image, and that image was obviously not a single image, but like constructed through like multiple different footages.
Can you talk about a little bit more about with the last installation you're working on, the kind of materiality of it? Because I think it's like your technique for building it is like really interesting with the projection mapping and the. I just want you to talk about the painting.
One Wonderful Summer?
No. Faces of Sadness.
Faces of Sadness?
Yeah, the projection mapping on the like the painted glass and everything here. How you like came about, because you can kind of see it here, the texture.
Yeah, because like in the previous version, I was taking like 36 takes, and I run it linearly as like a single channel, two channel video installation. But I think like my main focus here is to kind of show the difference between like each take, how the motion evolves, although like everything looks really similar. So I decided to like lay it out in like several, like multiple screens. But like I don't have the money to buy CRTs for 36 seconds. So I was using like acrylic plates, and then do projection mapping on it to kind of present all these faces at the same time.
You have the speakers behind some of them too, right?
Yeah. So for the speaker, I was like divided to like the speaker for synchronized sound when we saying like I am Taiwanese, and also from the like the bass end speaker when the answer is slowed down and kind of create this kind of difficulties of expression kind of feeling inside the slowed down version of the answer.
I'm curious about your feeling of start from more narrative filmmaking, but then play with like non-narrative, but then you're now play with the footage from narrative film. I just want to, like, what's your feeling like? Go through all this thing.
Whoa. Yeah, I think like from like getting away from narrative is like I think I kind of found my theme or my way of doing narrative. So I kind of want to like take a pause and then try to explore more in like installations and like space, kind of using space to tell the story. And then jumping back to the film, it's actually kind of a decision of like, because I'm a really like filmmaker, film person, and I would like to use some like historical masterpieces to kind of use it as a medium to critique on what I'm trying to do.
Also adding on that, for your filter system or when you're re-editing the footage that we shot before, like what do you think about the relationship between what you do afterwards in post and the meaning of the original footage? Because I think like most of the time you can see when you're shooting the footage, it is maybe not made for the system you created afterward because you revisit your footage a lot, but like does the meaning of the original footage still matters to you? What do you see like these two? Yeah, how do you see about the relationship between them?
Yeah, sometimes the footage doesn't, like I don't feel anything for the footage, but most of the time I think for me to kind of like breaking down the original footage is kind of the way of me examining what's happening and what is the author trying to express in kind of the visual way, because I don't really like to like play some footage and have to like explain all these concepts. So I think like taking the deconstruction approach is kind of the way of me trying to use these puzzles and then piece something into kind of like my shape. Yeah. So for especially like in Faces of Sadness, I was like using the gaze as the motion to kind of like I think like guide the audience to take the state of mind of like re-examine the piece. Yeah.
Maybe one final question?
Well, I'll ask it. So it's a little similar to that, but maybe more informal. Like one of the things also that's really interesting with a lot of your work, but mostly in Faces of Sadness, is you go from something that was shot in 35, then transfer to digital, then you reshoot it on 16, and then once again bring it back into the digital realm. This processing, this transcoding, does that also somehow alter how we understand the work, the sort of meaning of the work? Is that part of your strategy for conveying sort of this moment of Taiwanese history?
Yeah, I think like for Faces of Sadness, I was using like multiple mediums, and like in One Wonderful Sunday, I was like using the color channels and like multiple projectors. So I think what I'm doing is kind of similar. Like I want to use the figure as a pivot or as a center point for people to kind of like approach this kind of work. but like at the same time for Faces of Sadness, like the multiple medium, I'm trying to kind of juxtapose or like combine multiple different medium as time, kind of like the concept of time, but like they are all like compressed together into one kind of like, you couldn't really experience what is going on and what's the real time in my piece, but still have some like center points to grab.
Thank you.